As an IT leader in your company, you probably already know that your ERP has a lot of data ready to consume, but that is currently going to waste. Meanwhile, the business keeps asking you why you're not leveraging this data to innovate like your competitors. And other stakeholders might be wondering the same thing, but don't even bring it up with you. Well, why not do it using one of the out-of-the-box APIs with Olympe? For example, if you are in the logistics business and want to reduce your CO2 emissions, the first step is to know what your emissions are. The challenge is to determine CO2 emissions for the distribution of goods by road transport. We want it to be ready to be deployed on purchasing transport and on all transport types. And we want to be able to run it either per delivery or at a batch level, and to validate the result. To do this, on the IT side, you need to find the most accurate delivery data source. In this example, it's SAP's S/4HANA. And you need a credible, certified source of CO2 emissions data that is able to supply the CO2 emissions of all means of road transport. C-Route provides a great API that meets all these requirements. Instead of making a blueprint, just open Draw to gather your requirements. First, let's create our project. Then let's define the main action we need. Let's define the input and the output. The input will be a delivery ID. The output will be the CO2 emissions in grams. Now we will pull the data sources together. First, we will capture legacy data from S4. We find the standard API ready to use on SAP's API page. For this S/4HANA Cloud inbound delivery, we download the Swagger, and then we'll create a new library in Draw. Now we integrate the Swagger file we just downloaded, and let Draw do work for you. All the required actions to call the API endpoint are now ready to use, and the data model is ready to be manipulated. Now ask your dev team to do the next step. They can directly inside Draw or using their favorite code editor to code some new and powerful bricks for use in Draw. For now, working as a developer, we will build one brick to list some delivery outputs and another to give us per delivery the weight and the origin and destination addresses. The actual time to build all this should be around 1.5 days. In the meantime, let's take a look at C-Route. Why C-Route? Because it lets you gain control of your logistic carbon emissions. C-Route gives you a standard model that is accredited, and they are a truly API-first company. First, let's try the reporting part. On their website, C-Route provides a powerful API that measures the CO2 emission for all types of transportation. It is validated by the GLEC and SFC with a very well-documented API. With Olympe's passion for sustainability, we naturally have connectors such as the C-Route API. In our demo case, we will use the API for road transport. All the inputs are the optional inputs for the C-Route API. The outputs are the responses from the C-Route API. Now let's compose. Our development team tells us that they made the brick such that it will have the origin and destination address and the weight per delivery. Let's drag and drop the two main bricks we need to use. As the connector is out of the box for C-Routes, let's connect them together in the project. Let's add all the information the C-Routes API gives us. It looks like the connector takes the object as its input. Let's change that. Uh-oh, we need to transform the addresses to GPS coordinates. How are we going to do that? Fortunately, Olympe already has a number of pre-built bricks for hyperscaler services too. Like this Google Cloud Services brick that converts addresses to GPS coordinates. Our CO2 emission measurement application is ready. With Olympe, it's quick to test and iterate. In order to be sure our brick is ready to use, let's build a symbol UI to test it. Let's add a visual component to list some outbound deliveries. We'll add some fields to check the values returned by the API. We'll add a button and call our action to check the calculation done by our brick. Now let's associate the button with its functionality. We'll use our new brick to test it on this screen, but we need more data to test it, such as origin, destination, and weight. like this Google Cloud Services brick that converts addresses to GPS coordinates. Our CO2 emission measurement application is ready. With Olympe, it's quick to test and iterate. In order to be sure our brick is ready to use, let's build a simple UI to test it. Let's add a visual component to list some outbound deliveries. We'll add some fields to check the values returned by the API. We'll add a button and call our action to check the calculation done by our brick. Some information is missing. Let's add it to our previous brick. This is easy. And now this information shows in our result. Next, we add a delivery document number, a source address, a destination address, and the weight. So what's next? Now we can set this brick as public, and you can compose with it. You can integrate the brick to execute batch treatment of deliveries and store the result as a total wherever you want. This could be back in SAP, in a data lake, or in a specific database you may have created for sustainability initiatives. You can use the same brick to start a workflow or generate emails, SMSs, and alerts. You can reuse the brick with total transparency in any other company project. With Olympe's governance features, you can always find where a given brick is being used. And you can even expose the brick through a web service for your customers to use. Your deliveries are now ready to give you their CO2 emissions for all use cases.
Try Olympe for free.